I'm just sitting out here in my patio, and one thing that I've learned a lot through researching what I wanted to do with YouTube and different stuff like marketing and things like that, I've discovered that I don't want to be just a normal old construction worker. I've discovered that there's more of a purpose in my life. Not only do I want to be a good Christian, but I also want to be an excellent Christian. Of course, I'm not going to be perfect in every aspect of it, but I am going to go forward. I am going to try my best to do whatever it may be that lies in front of me. Talking to the younger kids especially too, there's a lot of kids out there that just totally don't want to listen to their parents, don't really care about life, that are totally angry. Maybe their dad's not in their life, their mom's not in their life, whatever the case may be. Maybe they feel rejected, they feel like they're overweight, not as pretty as the other girls in school, whatever the case may be. What God wants to do in your life is he wants to change that, because when you become born again as a Christian, you actually start your life all over again. Now, your mindset doesn't change because you've always been accused of this or that. You've always been told you're not this, you're not that. But then you learn this concept in your life that changes you completely. And what happens is you just start looking past what you used to be. You forgive yourself for your past. You forgive yourself for the things that other people may have done to you. You forgive yourself for the hurts, maybe the things you've hurt other people with. And so when you start learning to forgive others, when you start learning to let things go, then you can really open up your mind to being out of the slavery mindset. And so what I mean by that is, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out, but it does take a lot to accept this in your heart. And so what you have to do from square one is you have to stop looking at what you did wrong. You have to stop putting yourself down. The biggest insult you can do to anybody is put somebody down. If you call them a name, if you tell them who they are, and even if they're not like that, if you think it's like, for instance, a guy that looks kind of like a girl, you might call him sissy or something, and before he knows it, all his life he thinks he's a sissy. He may be one of the strongest men that had ever lived. He may have been to a point where he could have actually started working out and getting real strong and be a masculine man, but he's been told all his life he's nothing but a sissy. Or you talk to the girl that's a little overweight, and all she's been told is, you're chubby, you're never going to amount to nothing, you're not going to be any good. And so what happens to you? Your mindset changes. You start as you're young just believing every lie that's ever been told to you. And so what I believe is that you have to let that stuff go. You have to go past where you used to be. Now that you're 20 years old now, or now that you're 30, or now you're 40, why are we still discussing and why are we still struggling with the fact that somebody made fun of you at school? Well, school was a hard place for everybody, even the jocks. I used to play football in high school. I wasn't the most popular person, but I wasn't a geek or anything like that, but I hung around all kinds of different people because in my life I cared about people. Always have. And so what I learned as well is no matter what the situation may be, I'm going to do what I have to do in order to be successful. And so that come with young childhood, when I was homeless a few times, when I was in drugs and stuff like that, bad time. When I was younger, I learned. When I went to jail for a couple weeks because I did something wrong, I learned that over 20-some years ago. I can't stay in that mindset and believe that mindset, because if I believe that mindset, I'll always stay in that mindset. Does that make sense? So what I've learned to do in my life is to always wake up every day. I'm not stressed out. I'm not worried. I'm not concerned. All I do is wake up. I think about that day throughout the day. I may go to work. I may not have to work that day, whatever the situation is, but I'm always thinking positive. I'm always thinking about what's next. What's the next step in my life? What's the next level? If you're not there yet, I want you to get there. It may not be overnight, because it wasn't overnight for me. It took me over 15 years with the Lord to realize who I really was. And that was spending lots of time in church. I was spending lots of time in counseling. I was spending lots of times in who I was wounded before. And now I found my actual reverence in life now. And so enough about me. I'm just kind of bringing all that up to share this with you. You cannot sit there and stay in that one place. I don't know who I'm talking to. This may be 10 years later you get to see this video. I don't know. That's the thing about recording stuff. That's the thing about putting on YouTube. It's past who you are. And once you release that, there's something inside of you. You can release that to the world, and the world may find it as God leads it to that specific place. But you personally should be successful. You personally should be an overcomer. You personally should never let life beat you down. You personally shouldn't listen to the haters. When you stop listening to the haters and you start focusing on who you are, the haters become your friends. How many times have you done something good to somebody did you bad, and all of a sudden their attitude changed toward you, right? What about you doing something for you? What about you taking the time to just enjoy life? Like today, for instance, I took my drone out to fly. Yeah, I own a construction business. I got bills. I got this and that going on, blah, blah, blah. I took my drone out today. It's a nice, sunny, beautiful day, all by myself. I'm sitting here recording something all by myself. I've learned to enjoy myself. I've learned to love myself. Do I have everything right? No. If you ask anybody that knows me, I'm a little harsh on some ends. I'm a little vulgar. I'm a little rough on the edges still. I'm just now almost 43. So it's not easy for me, to act childish anymore, but I do have fun as a child at heart. It's not fun for me to discourage people, but sometimes I do discourage people, even though most of my life is all about helping others, honestly. I find joy in that. What do you find joy in? What do you sit back and relax in when you're having your tea in the mornings, or dinner at night with the kids, or whatever it is? What makes you you? Have you thought about that? Have you thought about what makes you you? Why do you like the things that you like? Who's the people that you want to be around? Who do you want people to like you for? What's your purpose here? What's your plans? What's your destiny? Have you thought about that? Don't give up so much hope just because you lost a job. Don't give up hope because you lost a marriage. People do lose marriage. I never have, by the grace of the Lord, and I hope never to. I've been married almost 20 years. But, if that happens, then I'll have to deal with that too. But why let the little life struggles destroy the days that you have left? Why let a bad situation that arose get in your heart and destroy you? Why would you let people that don't really care a rat's rear end about you tell you who you are? I watched this nice little video that Will Smith was on. It's talking about seeing people through broken glass, like broken mirrors. Most people that judge you for who you are looking through a broken mirror. And then we take that self-esteem from what people say to heart, and we believe what they say through broken glass or broken mirror and tell us who we are. Instead of looking at what other people say about who you are, why don't you start telling yourself who you are? I was reminded too, on Facebook, I saw just last night or the day before, a friend of mine that I've known for 20-something years. They were sitting there dogging themselves. They said, I never do anything right. I'm this and that. And I responded back to him and I said, why think so negative of yourself? Why hate people when you hate yourself more? Why tell people, don't call me that, don't say this about me, don't do that, when you won't even stand up for yourself? When you sit there and tell yourself all day long you're no good, then you believe that. When you sit there and tell yourself that you can't make a difference, you believe that. If you would sit there and tell yourself you can get up and get on the job, and you can do this, and you can get up at 7 a.m. and you can cook a fantastic dinner, and you can make a great dessert, and you can run a mile even though you can barely walk right now. When you tell yourself that kind of stuff, you look forward to going that route. But when you sit there and tell yourself all the time, there's no good in me, what happens? There is no good in you. Why? Whose fault is that? Yours. Be responsible for yourself. Be self-lifting, self-encouraging, self-motivated. I know it's hard for you sometimes when you're laying in bed and you can't even find a way out of the bed. It's not because you're lazy. It's because you're depressed. You don't feel like living. Don't live that way. You're too important in this society. Your opinion matters. You being here matters. If it didn't matter, God wouldn't have created you to put you here. Whether you believe in God or not, you're here, right? Whether you believe you're for the Big Bang Theory and you were all of a sudden made of molecules and boom, you're here. You're here. Would you at least want somebody to know you as a good person, a respectful person, a loving person, caring person? Would you want them to know that about you because that's what you did for people? Even though you come home late at night and you were sad yourself? Or would you want them to know that you're a good person, the way I explained just a second ago, even when no one's looking? And you can get out of bed and you can achieve life. I believe in you. Believe in yourself. Anyway, if you like this, please sub and like. Leave a comment, please. If there's something you'd like to ask me a question-wise, I would love to answer it. Like I said, I've started several other channels, faceless channels, and I have my how-to channel here. The other ones I'm just doing mainly for business, but this here, I think the good Lord wants me to put into inspiration for those that are hurting, those that are wounded. I used to be rejectful. I felt rejected. I used to feel all that pain. I used to feel all that, but the Lord saved my life over that. He learned me and taught me how to become an overcomer, and I think He can do the same for you. You don't have to use Jesus for this, but I do suggest Jesus. But if you don't use Jesus, there's still positive ways to influence your mind that does not consider religion, but just really opens you up to reality. Just try it. I have more videos to come. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Appreciate it. My name's Jess, and thanks a lot.